Sitting on rocks across the sea, hoping little caverns follow me home. Wonder where my mind keeps on tending. This is how I live, to me what's soul. Why am I like this? Something always up. This can't put my finger on it, but it's there. I want this upside, but my mind won't upside. Waiting for the clear. It depends. Sometimes I like it when I lose control. There's something in it that's so beautiful. I can see the light, but I can also see the ghost. I don't know what else there is today. Not to run away. Sitting on rocks across the stage, hoping little pavements follow me home. Wondering how the world keeps on spinning, kinda still living when it unfolds. Hard to see the light when everything is silent, waiting for the clear. Thankful I'm alive, but terrified at times. But hey, I'm still here. Is it that sometimes I like it when I lose control? There's something in it that's so beautiful. Listen, I can see the light, but I can also see the cold skin. I don't know what else there is to
Hello, everybody. Welcome along to the Virtual Sautilege Dog Music Quiz number 5. Tonight, somewhere beginning with I, we're in Innsbruck. A bit later on, I'll show you the view from, can't work this out, up there, up that mountain. I went up that mountain. So if you haven't played this before, we've got a few rounds, not too long. We've got a name, picture round, 5 questions. We've got a name the year, 2 years. Then we've got 2 rounds of questions and the backwards round. So if you've all got a pen and paper ready, we can start the quiz. And the first round is the picture round. This week, the pictures are all album covers. So I just want the name of the album, not the artist, just the name of the album. And if we skip past this picture of the salty dog, right, here's the first album. What is the title of this album? So I don't want the name of the band, just want the name of the album. And the second one, what's the title of this album? Good evening, everybody. Saying hello. What's the title of this album? Third one in this round. What's the title of this album? Album number 4. What's the title of this one? Bit more up to date. And album number 5. What's the title of this one? If you've got all those, right, we're partway up the mountain now. If you've got all those, good. If you haven't, here's a quick refresher. What are the title of these 5 albums? I'm in Innsbruck, Tracy. You missed me. That's my introduction. These just going up the mountain by cable car. What are the name of these 5 albums? The next round is name the year. We're still in April, so there's still April number 1s. I hope you've all got a drink. I'm on tea tonight. All right, so these are all April number 1s. But what year were these songs number 1? First one, Side Saddle by Russ Conway. What year was that number 1? What year was Side Saddle by Russ Conway number 1 in the UK charts? What year was Side Saddle by Russ Conway number 1 in April? And the second one. What year was Make Love by Room 5 featuring Oliver Cheatham at #1 in April? What year was Make Love by Room 5 featuring Oliver Cheatham at #1 in April? Right, the question rounds now 10 questions in each round, and they're both similar rounds. We're going to be looking at the 1960s to now. So two songs from the 60s, two questions from the 60s, two from the 70s, two from the 80s, 90s, and so on. So 10 questions. And I've just popped into the ice bar. Still got a cup of tea though. It's like a big igloo. Quite warm in here though. So round one, question one. What was the title of the only top 20 hit by Percy Sledge in the 60s? What was the title of the only top 20 hit by Percy Sledge in the 60s? What was the title of the only top 20 hit by Percy Sledge in the 60s? Question two. Who had hit albums in the 1960s with $1 million worth of twang and twangy guitars? Who had hit albums in the 1960s with $1 million worth of twang and twangy guitars? Don't look outside the window. It sounds like the police helicopter's going over again. Question three. Which former wrestler and bouncer had hits with Big 6, Big 7, and Big 8? Which former wrestler and bouncer had hits with Big 6, Big 7, and Big 8? Question four. What was the title of Billy Ocean's first hit single? What was the title of Billy Ocean's first hit single? What was the title of Billy Ocean's first hit single? Question five. What was the title of the first solo #1 hit single by Michael Jackson? What was the title of the first solo #1 single by Michael Jackson? Question six. Who was the performer with Mark Almond on the #1 revival of Something's Gotten Hold of My Heart? Who was the performer with Mark Almond on the #1 revival of Something's Gotten Hold of My Heart? Question 7. Name the band that made the top 20 with High and the 13th. Name the band that made the top 20 with High and the 13th. Question 8. In 1997, the Spice Girls released a double A-sided single. One of the songs was Who Do You Think You Are? What was the other side? In 1997, the Spice Girls released a double A-sided single. One of the songs was Who Do You Think You Are? What was the other? Yeah, helicopter's up there circling. It was up there this afternoon. What was the other side of Who Do You Think You Are by the Spice Girls? Question 9. Name the singer who entered the charts at number 1 in 2015 with her record Hold My Hand. Name the singer who entered the charts at number 1 in 2015 with her record Hold My Hand. Question 10, last one in this round. What's the title of the album by Keane that contains the tracks Somewhere Only We Know, On a Day Like Today, and Everybody's Changing? What's the title of the album by Keane that contains the tracks Somewhere Only We Know, On a Day Like Today, and Everybody's Changing? All right, that's the end of round 1. Helicopter's still circling. Round 2, more of the same. We've got 10 questions from the 60s through till fairly recently. And this is the view from the top of the mountain we're at when we started this quiz. Went up by about 3 cable cars to get up here. That's a spectacular view. Right, so round 2. Question 1. What was the title of the only top 20 hit by comedy performer Alan Sherman? What was the title of the only top 20 hit by comedy performer Alan Sherman? What was the title of the only top 20 hit by comedy performer Alan Sherman? Question 2. Name the female group that had a top 10 hit in 1961 with Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? Name the female group that had a top 10 hit in 1961 with Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? Question 3, on to the 70s. How many number one singles were achieved by the Bay City Rollers? How many number one singles were achieved by the Bay City Rollers? I'm trying to remember the name of the mountain. See if I can look it up. In my question 4, staying in Scotland. What was the title of the number one single by Slick? What was the title of the number one single by Slick? What was the title of the number one single by Slick? Question 5. What are the two words in brackets preceding Fascination and the title of the top 5 hit by the Human League? What are the two words in brackets preceding Fascination in the title of the top 5 hit by the Human League? What are the two words in brackets preceding Fascination in the title of the top 5 hit by the Human League? Question 6. Who wrote the 1988 hit by Maxi Priest called Wild World? Who wrote the 1988 hit by Maxi Priest called Wild World? Who wrote the 1988 hit by Maxi Priest called Wild World? If we go on to question 7, the mountain we're at the top of is Nordketi. I think that's how you pronounce it, but that's what it is. Question 7. What is the title of the album by Sleeper that contains the tracks Nice Guy Eddie and Sail of the Century? What is the title of the album by Sleeper that contains the tracks Nice Guy Eddie and Sail of the Century? What? Question 8. What was the title of the first number one single by Take That? We're in the 90s now. What was the title of the first number one single by Take That? Question 9. Name the female singer featured on Tinchy Stryder's 2009 hit Never Leave You. Name the female singer featured on Tinchy Stryder's 2009 hit Never Leave You. First name will do. If you can give them both, you don't get any extra points. And question 10. Name the female singer who made the top 10 in 2002 with a revival of the Partridge Family's 1971 hit, I Think I Love You. Name the female singer who made the top 10 in 2002 with a revival of the Partridge Family's 1971 hit, I Think I Love You. And the last round, as ever, is the backwards round. 5 songs played backwards. Artist and title, 1 point for the artist, 1 point for the title. While you listen to these, I'll put the album covers back up. So name the artist and title of these 5 songs. Play that one again, it started partway through. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. And number 5. Right, I'll just play those for you again one more time. So, name the artist title of these 5 songs. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. And number 5. Right, remember to put the headset back again this year. We're coming down the mountain now. We've got the skiers going up. We're coming down on the cable car. But time for the answers. Round 1, name the album title. Swap your papers over and do whatever you want. 1 point for each album title. Name the album title. Come on. Right. Number 1 was Animals by Pink Floyd. Number 2, Enema of the State by Blink-182. Number 3 was Going for the One by Yes. Number 4, Meet the Vamps by the Vamps. And number 5, Oracular Spectacular by MGMT. Round 2. So 1 point for each of those, just the title of the album. Round 2. Let's name the year. 2 years. Number 1 was 1959. And number 2 was 2003. How fast do you want me to slow do you want me to go, Tracy? Come again? Pink Floyd, Animals. Blink-182, Enema of the State. Going for the One by Yes. Meet the Vamps by the Vamps. And Oracular Spectacular by MGMT. And name the year. 1959 and 2003. The questions round 1. The title of the only top 20 hit by Percy Sledge in the 60s was When a Man Loves a Woman. The hit albums $1 Million Worth of Twang and Twangy Guitars were by Duane Eddy. The former wrestler and bouncer who had hits with Big 6, Big 7 and Big 8, that was Judge Dredd. Billy Ocean's first hit single, number 4, was Love Really Hurts Without You. Or it says Huts. Love Really Hurts Without You. 1 point for each of these. Question 5. What was the title of the first solo number 1 single by Michael Jackson? That was One Day in Your Life. Hulk Hogan. Oh, sorry. One Day in Your Life. Number 6. The performer with Mark Almond on Something's Gotten Hold of Your Heart, My Heart, was Gene Pitney. Number 7, the band that made the top 20 with High and the 13th, that was The Cure. Number 8, the other side of the Spice Girls song, Who Do You Think You Are? That was Mama. Number 9, the singer who went to the charts at number 1 in 2015 with her record Hold My Hand, That was Jess Glynn. Number 10, the title of the album by Keane that contains Somewhere Only We Know, On a Day Like Today, and Everybody's Changing. That's Hopes and Fears. Second round of questions. The only top 20 hit by comedy performer Alan Sherman. That was Hello Mother, Hello Father. Number 2, the female group had a top 10 hit in 1963 with Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? That was the Shirelles. Number 3, the Bay City Rollers had 2 number-1 hit singles. And the title of the number-1 single by Slick, that was Forever and Ever. The 2 words in brackets preceded Fascination in the top 10 hit by the Human League, that was Keep Feeling. And the 1988 hit by Maxi Priest, Wild World, was written by Cat Stevens. Number 7, the title of the album by Sleeper is The It Girl. Number 8, the first number-1 hit single by Take That. First number-1 single by Take That was Pray. The female singer featured on Tinchy Stryder's 2009 hit Never Leave You, Amel Barbera. Amel Beraba. And the female singer who made the top 10 in 2002 with I Think I Love You, that was Kaki. Yeah. I'll sort you out, Booby Price. The backwards answers. We heard number 1, 10cc Rubber Bullets. Number 2, 1 point for the artist, 1 point for the title on these. Number 2 was Blondie, Heart of Glass. Number 3, The Carpenters, Top of the World. Number 4, Culture Club, Karma Chameleon. And number 5, Devo, Jocko Homo. It wasn't Khaki in the Sunshine, that was KC. So 10cc Rubber Bullets, Blondie Heart of Glass, The Carpenters, Top of the World, Culture Club, Karma Chameleon, and Devo, Jocko Homo. Right, come down to the bar in Innsbruck now. Total up your scores, post them in the comments down whichever side they're on, that side, on my screen anyway. And we can all have a good laugh. No, total up your scores, let us know how you've done, and we'll see you next week. Now that's Dev. Total up your scores, put them in the comments. Next week, I think we'll go to Italy. Anyway, thanks for playing, everybody. See you next week.